Good afternoon. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you to tune into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elson McGee, your host. Been missing for a ghost. And I'm here with my crime partner, Tony. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, and I was missing last week.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
That's the critical right now. So we wanna kick it off today with this. We're in a situation that we ain't never been in before. We used to handling things that ain't never been did before. We're threatened the whole democracy that we got in this country is threatened by a mega group of politicians and haters, people that don't want this multi-racial, multicultural democracy that we built.
Yep.
And that we built. The U.S. military. Now, it should come home to everybody in the U.S. military, every veteran in this country today, because we just lost 3 young people that was just doing their duty. Just doing their duty.
Yep.
They wasn't in a violent service. They was in a guarding service, a maintaining service, watching the interests of America, the interests of this democracy. And we had some haters that killed them. And we responded to it in a way that we should respond to it. And we need to make sure that everybody on planet Earth understand this. When you attack a U.S. service personnel, you're attacking the country.
That's it. Yeah.
Period. Point blank. And now I want to flip that a little bit, Tony, because I want everybody that have ever served or had a family member that ever served, I want you to think about what you served for. What did you serve for? Tell the truth, Tony, I went in for the benefits.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to school. I wanted to become an attorney. I wanted to, so I recognized that was an option for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was an option for me. During that time, it was a critical time because, we had the civil rights movement going on, and we had this changing demographic. We had this changing social economic thing going on. Cause I got a job that wasn't available to my parents. I went to work for the railroad when I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
I was in Washington High School when they came around looking for students that had honor students that wasn't going to college. They couldn't afford to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Was offering jobs in the industry that we was previously denied those jobs in. And I went in and training, became the first black and youngest supervisor at Railway Express downtown at Union Station. That was kind of remarkable.
It was.
And I mean, a bunch of other people coming from Washington High, Carver, Price, Turner, Archer, had the same opportunities.
Why is it you never mention Harper?
Harper. You know what? And then somebody told me that yesterday. Said, you keep forgetting Harper because we came in last year. They came in, and a lot of my friends graduated from Harper.
Yeah.
They lived over there off of Fairman Road. And Harper popped up, and they went to Harper. They left Turner High, went to Harper. They left Washington High, went to Harper. So yes, Harper High. But what I was saying, that was an era when we were still in segregation.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
We were still segregated, living in segregated communities. And I was, like everybody else, looking forward to the draft, Tony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I knew it was coming because it was there for everybody. When you turned 18 years old, you had to go register for the draft because, and those answers right then, you not only registered, you were being drafted.
Exactly.
Because they had a war going on.
You had a way out.
Yeah, there was a way out that a lot of people had. They had exemptions for certain people. Now, I had an exemption because my dad was in the military and I was on assignment. So I could do the exemption. My mom, being an only son, she went and got the exemption paper. She said, Elson, you ain't got to go. That kind of hit me in the face hard because, first of all my buddies going.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Didn't have a choice.
He
He couldn't go to Canada like the white
I
boy.
couldn't go to. I couldn't. Now I wasn't finna go to Canada like the white boy because my dad was a veteran.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
Yeah.
you know, even though he was a solid veteran, you know, he was a veteran, and he was proud of me in the uniform. He was proud of that
Yeah.
uniform.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, he wasn't proud of the nature of his service because he was serving too in a segregated military. It just become integrated during the Korea War. You know, but basically at the end of the Korea War, it became more prevalent because the last so-called colored unit was deactivated in 1954. So that made it a fully integrated military going into Vietnam. The first military conflict was being fought by this integrated military force. And it was a remarkable experience for me, Tony, because I had never lived in a barracks with no white people
Right.
before.
Yeah.
You know, I hadn't. That was a brand new experience, and had nobody warned me about it either. And I'm gonna tell you something. I don't think they had warned any of us.
No.
The white, the blacks, the Mexicans, or any of us, all of us wound up, we looking at each other because we had never had that proximity.
Especially those of us who lived in the South.
They lived in the South.
We never associated with anybody of the other race.
Never.
You know, you saw them, you knew they were in the community, but there was no interaction between the races at that time.
And they was in the community, but their houses was across the street from yours.
Across the street, on the other side of the
Across
creek,
the railroad
tracks.
across definitely across the railroad tracks in College Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we did was really remarkable, man, for young people that had no briefing, no experience. We integrated the U.S. military.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When segregation was still the law of the land outside of the military bases in
Yes.
this country. So that was a trick that I really don't know how we did it with the knowledge that we had that we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
But we bonded.
Yeah.
We had a few fights in the barracks too, Tony.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I couldn't stand the
More
nigga.
than a few.
You know, they wouldn't stand. They wouldn't. I couldn't take the N word and they couldn't take the C word.
Yeah.
You know. So we had some fisticuffs.
Yep.
But we also learned something. We learned that we could live together, that we could learn together, and that we could serve together
Yeah.
for a common ideal. And we did it well.
Yeah.
We did it well. If we hadn't did it well, the U.S. military that you see today is the most integrated, diverse community in the world.
It is. It really, really is. It's amazing to watch and observe them and how they function
Together.
Like
Like hand in glove.
Yep.
You don't see no hate, no disputes. You see cooperation. Now, we learned what that meant because, you know, in some situations, I was in combat. In some situations, in the military, you need somebody to have your back.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what, let's see, you didn't care what color they was. You didn't think about what color they
No.
was. All you knew that somebody had your back.
Yes. Yep.
And the radio had your back.
And the radio had your back.
Yep.
Because that's what saved my life, the radio. But I wasn't even supposed to, you know, I was point man for my platoon. A lot of people think when you say point man, they think you talk about you a point man for the company.
Yeah.
You're always on point. Well, in my unit, the 173rd didn't work like that. What it what? You rotate, right? You know, your platoon rotate to lead. When your platoon rotate to lead, then you on point.
Okay.
But when you ain't, and you got 4 other platoons, you know, that's rotating, so you in your company. So you might not be on point for a whole month, you know. So you're not there every day. The day that I got wounded, I was not point man. I was a gopher. You know, you gopher to do whatever you told.
That's
me.
it. Yeah.
When you ain't on your MOS. And so I'm the radio man, and lucky for me, that day I was the radio man because the radio on my back got busted with shrapnel. The M16 that I had in my hand got tore up. The helmets I had on my head got busted.
Tell them about
And the guy,
Second Lieutenant.
and the second Louis that was next to me, I had part of his brains in my face.
Yeah.
His head was cut off. You know,
Yeah.
shrapnel hit his head, it busted open, scattered in my face. That was the most traumatizing experience I could have, because at that time,
You were 18, 19.
now I was 20.
20.
I turned 21 in
In a
Vietnam,
foxhole.
in a foxhole. Serving for this country.
Yep.
And believe me, Tony, I believed everything that the military taught me was possible.
Oh yeah, yeah. We couldn't help but because we didn't know anything different, and we believed all the stuff that we were taught in basic training, was true about the military. You know, we were the strongest military in the world, and we believed it. And the other part of it, we wanted to be a part of that.
Yes.
You know, we
took pride.
We took pride in being an American in the military. Yes. Yeah.
And you know what? My dad used to like for me to come home and if I could get him, you know, don't take your money. We're going to ride for a minute. Because our whole community,
Yes.
family and friends, supported us.
Yes. Yep.
There was no ifs, ands, and buts about your service in the military
Until you came home.
until you came home.
And what happened? Spit on.
Spit on. You got spit on coming home from Vietnam, because I didn't even know they were protesting like they were protesting, because the media wasn't telling us what was going on in America.
We were sheltered. We were sheltered from the media that was going on in our country, so we never knew how the country felt, a part of the country felt about us.
And you know, I'm gonna say this: I was in Vietnam when Dr. King got assassinated, and briefly there were riots. The first reaction to that was, you know, for us to strike out against the whites in the company, but it only lasted for a minute.
Yep.
Before we came to our senses and realized that this is my brother. This is who got my back. What done happened in America is tragic, but that's not going to affect my service to this country. And you know, one of the things that we learned though is that the reason Dr. King got killed was because of his position about the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
You know, he had some strong feelings about how they had a wall of poor people fighting and killing poor people.
Yeah.
He understood the global economic impact that we just understanding today, Tony.
Yes.
And that's separating us so much today. We think that it's different people, but it's a little handful of super rich people.
Yes.
That's controlling global economics. See, it used to be a time in this country when they wouldn't let a company get too big. You know, they would call it monopoly. You remember they broke down the Atlanta gas light and made them have this, well, they just became a gang. You know, they created these little marketers, but they still own all the equipment.
Yep.
And what we learned is how to live together. And we also learned how the government is supposed to function, Tony. And now we see that we got people in our government, inside the government, working for the government, that's not there for all the people. They're there for taking over control of our government and turning it against what we have served for. You know, you got some people that used to be generals in the military that believe this should be a white nation.
Yep.
And now we knew what racism is. We knew that it was there during the military, but because of our youth and we was able to adapt and get around it to the point that we integrated America. And the integration that you see now is the most peaceful part of our community. They're the most peaceful part of our community, because they know that they can live together no matter, everybody got the same ideas, everybody got the same needs, and everybody got the same structure of life. I got a family, they got a family. You know, they care about their family, I care about my family. They come from what their family line come from, I come from mine. We learn to respect that, and we sort of got into each other's culture. I went to some country bars. I had never been to a country bar. until I went to the military. I went on country boy. You know, went to the country boy and I liked it.
Yeah.
You know, kind of enjoyed it. Because I was learning something with somebody that I never knew before that got my back.
Mm-hmm.
Had my back. They covered me
Yeah.
in every kind of way in the military because we picked up.
Yeah. And they didn't look like us.
And they didn't look like us.
They did not look
They
like
didn't look
us.
And we got to remember that now. And we got to call these guys and remind them
Mm-hmm.
of what that service meant and what we got as a result of their service. And just ask them, do you want to destroy this?
Hmm.
Or you going to let somebody take this after you done seen your friends die in combat or get hurt in the military? You going to let them come in and cause us to hate each other again?
You know, the thing that just stands out with that is the fact that, for me, how we worked together and we fought for this democracy.
Fought for this democracy.
We were willing, we swore that we would give up our lives for this democracy.
And some of our peers did.
Yes, yes,
And Tony, we did it, and we meant it every day.
yes,
Because we learned that if you got to be somewhere on time, you was there.
yes.
You wasn't a minute late
Yeah, yeah.
because that wasn't the order. We learned to respect government. We understood that you had people that's over you that was supposed to give you good orders, but they gave you this knowledge. You ain't got to follow a bad order.
Right. Yeah.
And we made this commitment. We would defend this democracy against all enemies, domestic or foreign.
Exactly.
And we need to remember that now because we got people in our government right now, this day, while we talking, Tony, that's willing to accept some people being above the law.
Exactly.
Above the law. They don't want the law to apply to them when it should apply to them the way it applies to everybody else.
The frightening part about that statement is that they have a person running for President of the United States that has made the statement he wants to be dictator for a year. That is totally against the Constitution.
Not only that, did he say that, but he said that in this role as president, he could kill his political opponents
Yes.
and not be held responsible. That's not the democracy that I serve.
No.
That's not the democracy that I seen my friends and my peers die for.
Yeah. Or that we were willing to die
And
for.
we was willing to die for, and we need to be reminded that this has been a good country in its growth. Yeah, it's and what we got to do now. When I heard Tim Scott and some of these folks saying this wasn't a racist nation, BS. It was in the Constitution.
Yes.
The good part about this democracy is that we had the power to amend it, the Constitution. To change the Constitution with our vote.
Yes.
Now we talk about what we talk about. The most potent, powerful tool that we have for change today.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, 2024, is going to be the most critical election we ever had.
Exactly.
And everybody need to participate.
Mm-hmm.
Those that's for the democracy and those that not.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it like this, Tony. The majority wins.
Yes.
And when they win this time, those people that try to change it violently will be immediately dealt with. We won't wait on long, drawn out time. They will be immediately met with the repercussions of their insurrection.
Exactly.
And we need to get all of those insurrectionists out of the government. Margaret Taylor Greene needs to be gone.
Yeah.
She's the insurrectionist. This boy Jordan
Yes.
needs to be gone. He's an insurrectionist. I can't say Kevin McCarthy and all them guys insurrection. They just cowards.
Yeah. They cowered to who they consider to be a strong leader, and he's a weak man.
He's a weak man with a bully persona.
That's it.
And I done seen him look around corners and make sure there was no danger there before he came out.
Yep.
He's a coward.
Yeah.
And he's crafty. You know the word crafty?
Yes, yeah.
He's so crafty, he is able to get all of these people that feel like him, that think like him, to give him money to try to fight criminal charges that he know he did wrong about. But they want to keep him above the law. Now, that's an enemy of the democracy as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. He is definitely, and he wants a lead position in the democracy that he is an enemy of.
So that he can finish destroying it.
Yes. Yes.
That's his goal.
Yep.
Because, you know, the way he's talking, he's telling us what he's going to do if he get the opportunity to do it. And you know what? We know what he's going to do. Now we need to ask ourselves what we're going to do about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Period. We, as American citizens believing in the Constitution and a democracy.
And what we're going to do about it?
Yes.
What we're gonna, are we going to sit back and watching them and say, oh, man, that's right. Are we going to assert our constitutional duties?
Yes.
This is a time for a constitutional duty.
Exactly. It is our duty to save the democracy.
It's our duty.
It's whatever
it takes.
By all means necessary.
And
we have the wonderful thing about that is it doesn't take a war.
No, it doesn't.
It's a vote.
A vote.
We have a vote that will save our democracy. It's just, you know, and it's for me, that's one of those things I consider a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. You know, nobody has to face a conflict unless it's an internal one where you're dealing with whether you're going to vote for the democracy or a dictatorship. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. Because, see, you know, and what I like about this situation is that he has exposed not only his intention, but his supporters.
Yes.
He's exposing.
Yes.
All of the billionaires. You know, all of the so-called government officials that was conservatives before he came along, now they all of a sudden, they whatever he wants them to be. And I don't understand that. Now, they see how crafty he is and how vicious a person he is and how he will throw you up on his people up under the bus if they disagree with him.
Yeah.
I don't understand what makes them think that they're safe with this man.
Yes.
They can't be safe with him. They're gonna disappear when they wake up one night. He doesn't disagree. They don't disagree with him.
Yeah.
They're gonna disappear, and ain't nothing gonna be no repercussions because that's who they embraced.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, Tony, I think that those of us that feel like us need to vote in a way that we know it's going to either be the ballot or the bullet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going to either be the ballot or the bullet. Malcolm said that a long time ago. It's going to be the ballot or the bullet. Because, see, I'm going to say this right here. If we don't vote and if we get in the office, we're not going to be able to tolerate what he's going to do to us. So we're going to pick up arms against that.
Yeah.
So either way it go, he's just destroying the democracy.
Yes. And one of the more important things about it, he's told us what he's going to do. There is no doubt in anybody's mind about what his intentions are for our democracy.
And that's why I was saying today, Tony, at the meeting, we know what time it is. Now it's time for us to organize, strategize, and mobilize.
Yes.
And what we need to do, they ain't thinking about it because they don't care about it. We got all of these seniors, veterans communities that ain't voting. Some of them ain't registered to vote. Starting this spring, we're going into these communities and we're going to start registering these people like we ain't never registered them before.
Yeah.
Because we need them now.
Yes.
And they need this country because what these people going to do away with? Social Security and veteran benefits. If you ain't got it, you won't get it. Mm-hmm. They're gonna give you the crumbs off the master table, and that's what you're gonna accept, or you're gonna disappear. What we need to be doing, and we're asking all of our audience, people that want to volunteer right now with the Sons of Atlanta Vietnam War Memorial Project. We need volunteers because we going into these senior citizens places and register people to vote and make sure that they vote in November.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna also start going to some of these high schools where you got a lot of kids graduating this year. We need to make sure that all of them are registered. As some of them are 18 before they graduate. Though we need them registered to vote.
Exactly.
We need them registered to vote. We're gonna register people to vote. We're gonna get out and we're gonna work to make sure that we getting this vote for democracy. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I vote more Democrat because I ain't voting for no crazy folks. I just ain't gonna do that. But I'm not a card carrying Democrat. I consider myself an independent because I have voted for a Republican.
Yep.
Twice, really. Matter of fact, I voted for the Bush, and I voted for John McCain when he was running.
Okay, yeah.
But after he lost the thing, I couldn't vote for him no more. But I want the freedom to be able to vote for whoever I want to vote. I want both parties there. I want those options to be there.
And that's the nature of democracy. Is for our country, it's a two-party system. And so that's how it works. And so you have that option.
And Tony, we heard some stuff in the meeting today, man. People don't get caught up and let the crafty one get you to vote for a third party.
Yes.
You're throwing your vote to the enemy.
Yes.
You're throwing your vote to the enemy. Because he's splitting the vote up. Right now, it ain't time for that. We need to vote Democrat right now. We need to vote Democrat up and down the whole ticket. We need the House and the Senate.
Yes.
And the presidency. So that we can change the abortion laws that they done misconstrued. Get them people out of people's medical issues. We need to make sure that those tax rebates for the children need to be back and that need to be made permanent. We need to make sure that a minimum wage of $16 or more is the base of this country, period.
Yes.
26 states, but not Georgia.
Yep.
Already. They did that.
The idea is that's the base, not the norm. That's the base. That might be an entry salary for someone that's just starting out
on the job.
And you're working at McDonald's, but even some of those entry jobs are paying more than that. But the idea that you are supposed to support yourself and possibly a family off minimum wage, in our economy today, it can't be done.
Listen, Tony, I've looked at this and tried to measure. You need at least $65,000 a year income to live decently in this economy.
Yep, you're right.
If your income is less than $65,000 a year, you're living in poverty.
Yes.
So you have to understand that we have to get people elected to office that's going to cause these legislative changes in our country. A lot of us don't even realize that it is government's role to make sure that business is fair in the community. But if the businesses have bought all of the politicians that's running for government.
Go ahead.
We'll go around it. So what we got to do, we got to make sure people understand what they are voting for and not against.
Yeah.
We're not voting against Donald Trump. We're voting for the democracy.
Yeah.
We're not voting against the Republicans. We're voting for the democracy that we have. And unless we vote for it, we're going to have to fight for it.
Yeah. Yes.
because these guys done already told us what they're gonna do. If we don't believe them, put them in office.
Yeah, yeah. And we definitely don't want them to try to prove that point.
We don't,
Because they told us, you know, it is important to realize that they have told us beyond any doubt what their plans are.
what their plans.
Yeah, and so we don't have a choice. Yeah,
Inclusive.
Well, that's what we got. We got an inclusive democracy that's growing to be an inclusive democracy. If we can't see that, we need to look again. This week, and I say it's weak, Democratic administration has been the best one since Johnson. With inclusion, his administration looked more like the country than Barack's administration did, because he's including people from every demographic. Now, if we look at some of the legislative things that he's done, they could have went a little bit further, but the CHIP Act, you know, bring the chips back in here. The infrastructure bill, they fix the railroads and all this stuff coming back. He's created more jobs. We got more jobs now than we got people to fill the jobs.
and not just that, student debt.
Student debt.
Some of these students in some of those major colleges had major debt, something that it would take them years to get paid off, if ever. And now, you know, he's slowly wiping it clean.
And would have done wiped it all out had it not been for these Republicans that's saying that that's too much.
Yeah. The idea, and it boggles my mind, the support that DeSantis had when he told the students, file for bankruptcy. Now you ruin your future of trying to buy a home, buy a car. You know, you're going to pay even more in those situations just to exist.
And let me tell you a little secret. You cannot file for bankruptcy on that college debt. They got it fixed that you can't do it. They need to give it a law, but that law need to be changed so that anybody that got that kind of debt file bankruptcy on it and try to use those 7 years to come back. But you need to be a young person to do that. You don't need to wait till you're 50 or 60, because the way the economy is structured now, you ain't gonna never buy a home.
No.
Now, and this is something that when we talk about the plight of veterans, we need to really look close at how we're gonna vote this time, because we need to make sure that these Democrats that we are voting for, that they're not a wolf in sheep clothing. Because we got a lot of Democrats now that ain't with the program. They got as spoilers, you know. They just ain't as loud as some of these Republicans. But they're spoilers as well. And we need to go in vetting these people that's running for office. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Just because they're black, that don't mean they're going to treat you right. Now, and that don't mean that they're going to treat you. Tim Scott needs to apologize to the black community for lying about this nation not being a racist nation, to tell people he can't read. The Constitution itself made it a racial nation, because they didn't even consider us a whole person. If you was black, you was not considered to be a whole human being. And if that ain't racist, what is? We need to tell the truth about everything. Columbus didn't discover America, y'all. I'm sorry to tell you. He invaded it.
Yeah, there were Native Americans here.
He invaded America.
Yes.
Now, if you can't understand that, and you're going to believe that he discovered America, I got a bridge I want to see. You know, I'm just telling you, we got to wake up, and I'm calling out veterans, our families, our friends, and all Americans that know what we're talking about. That's not going to be deluded by their biases. If you're going to put one person over the law, and that's what GOP is telling us they're going to do right now.
Yeah.
They coming down here in Georgia subpoenaing a prosecutor about something ain't got nothing to do with nothing, because they want Trump to be above the law.
Yep.
Amen.
If we ain't voting right, that's what you're gonna get
That's it.
this year. They ain't talking about sometime down the line. You're gonna get that spirit in control of this country this year, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to stand up. Don't, like Dr. King said, if you don't bend your back, he can't ride you.
Yeah.
You know, we need to stand up and do our duties as veterans. We made a pledge that we would defend this country against all enemies, domestic or foreign. And I'm calling veterans out.
Yeah.
I'm calling us out. We need to stand up now, because as Malcolm told us, it's going to be the bullet or the ballot. Because if we don't battle it out this time, we're not going to be able to tolerate what they're going to do to us.
Yep.
So it's going to be blood in the streets of America. We can avoid this with the vote, Tony.
Yep.
If we just get up, work the vote, work your family to vote, and try to get these people that can't see, give them some sight. Give them some understanding of what this vote really is about. Really is about. It can stop the mess. It can keep this, we can keep growing this democracy toward the more perfect union.
Yep.
Because I believe this. I believe it is the great melting pot. And every nation on the planet today got a community in America. Think about it. When we was growing up, Tony, you didn't see all that.
No.
You know, you weren't teaching no 100 different languages at Georgia State.
No.
You don't know 100 different languages at Georgia State. Now they teaching 100 different languages right downtown at Georgia State because of people coming here. And we need them here.
Yes.
Our diversity is our strength. And we got to stop letting people make us scared of each other. And because they scared of us.
Yeah, because that is a tactic that they used during slavery.
It sure did.
And they knew it worked then, so now they want to try that same tactic now.
And it's working.
Yes.
And it's working on too many white people.
Yes.
For real. Because they're scared, man.
Yeah. They have convinced them that all of these foreigners are coming to take their power, take their land, take their money, and it's the last thing that these people want. They don't want to take anything. They want to work for it.
They want the opportunities that America offers.
Yes. If they've heard that America offers these opportunities, that's where I want to go to take advantage of those opportunities. I don't want to take anything. It is not my job to take anything. It's my job to work to gain whatever it is. I'm willing to put in the effort. They showed us that. You know, everybody here has been, in some way, in some form, encountered people from other countries and watched their work ethics.
Yes.
And it is you go like, this is something that we Americans were supposed to instill into their people.
Well, see what happened now. I'm gonna tell you what happened to us. We got out of that period where the government was controlling the growth and the dominance of business. Right?
Yeah.
So that meant that business start buying politicians. They start buying the politicians that's in office.
Mm-hmm.
So now they got it fixed where the people that's running for office just say to business, I'm gonna cut your taxes. And that's what they do. They cut the rich folks' taxes so they're paying less taxes. And why are they paying less taxes when they're making more money?
No.
And they'll tell you, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstrap and you ain't got no boots because they don't pay you enough to get no boots. You know, we got to let them know this year a change is coming.
Yep.
And we're going to keep it going until we get this more perfect union where our children and us can be judged on the basis of the content of our character rather than the color of our skin.
Yep.
We got to get away from people being scared of people or people scaring people because of the color of their skin. I thought those days was really over until Trump revealed this big screen of hatred that's controlling the body politics and for the Republicans.
Yeah.
You know, you would want to know why would you want to use the government to stop somebody from having an abortion and that ain't none of your body?
Yeah.
That should be something between the woman and God.
You know, and that was one of the things that they harped on, smaller government. Yet the minute they got an opportunity to control a major portion of the citizenship here in the United States, they jumped on that opportunity. You know, it's like they don't understand their philosophy.
No.
You know, they say one thing for one situation, but they say something else for another situation. You know, it's get your act together.
Well,
I'll take it back. They got their act together.
And then you say they speak with a funky tone.
Yeah, there you go.
So we need to understand what our brother was trying to tell us then. They came in with the Bible, and they got something else in their hand with the Bible. They was handing the Indians the Bible, and then they had something else behind their back that they finna use, and it was not the Bible.
No.
It was trickery and deception. And that's what's going on now with this. The media is helping them out too. The major media is helping spread misinformation.
Yeah.
And getting people not to see the facts. They'll get them to see what they want to tell them, and not look at the facts. You know, a guy told me that Biden hadn't did anything for the country, but stealing. I said, what he stole?
Yeah.
You know, tell me. You know, when you make those kind of statements, you need to be able to back it up with facts. Don't say stuff that you can't validate. You can't prove.
They know how to repeat the rhetoric, and that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They you know.
Gunners.
Yes.
Now, Antonio, I'm gonna get away from that. I want to go. I want to go to where we at now.
Yeah.
On the third Thursday this month, we're going to have a town hall meeting at Club E Atlanta in College Park. Sons of Atlanta Vietnam War Memorial Town Hall meeting. Now, Councilman Bond has indicated that he'll be there. What we're doing at this town hall meeting, we're getting ready to do the brickathon. So we want everybody to know now you hesitate, you procrastinate with getting your brick when you can go to the website right now and get it. It's sonsofAtlanta.org. If you hesitate to get your bricks, you think 12,000 is a big number. It's not a real big number when you got more than 100,000 potential customers in Metro Atlanta alone. So once we start marketing the bricks, they're gonna be gone. They're gonna be gone. But what we're having the town hall meeting for, because this project is a call to unity for veterans in our community. Yeah. Why do we need unity? To protect the democracy.
Yep.
To protect the democracy. Now, how do you protect the democracy? Making sure the democracy works to do what it's supposed to do. Prosperity and opportunities in every community. We have a lot of things going on that would advance our community that they don't even know anything about. They don't know how to get it. They don't know how to work it. Tony, you know, just what we did, you know, me and you, knocking on doors, Fulton County.
Yep.
I can remember one time we was in Marvin Arrington's office and we was telling him about a veterans commission in Fulton County. He looked at us and said, "Well, tell me something I can't do."
Really? Yes. Yes, he did.
He did.
Yes,
He said, "Tell me something I can't do." He got the commission done.
Yes.
And for the last 2 years, it done gave out $1 million, well, $2 million.
$2 million.
In the community. What we got to do now, what we're working on is make sure the pimps don't get the money.
Yep.
You know, because that has been a problem in our community. We get the government to allocate funds for things that we know we need in our communities, and we get these smarties that come up there and take all the money and go south with it.
Yep.
And write up something that make it look like they did something. And when people's asking, well, where you know, the homeless just don't want to, they want to be homeless.
No.
Who wants to be homeless? But that's what they'll say when they done spent the money on. I'm getting me a Mercedes, man. I want me a Lexus.
But that was one of the things that we, as being part of the Veteran Empowerment Commission, or I'll use the term venting these companies that got monies in the past.
Well, they don't like us.
They showed up and had to tell us what they were doing with those funds. And we were totally blown away at some of the projects that received funds. Mm-hmm. And therein was one of the challenges. Excellent. They have grant writers that are excellent. They know how to say, what to say, and how to arrange it so that whoever they're writing the grant for gets those funds. And we found that out when they had to come in and tell us what did you do?
Come to us.
Yes. Yes.
And when we had that authority.
Yes.
That's what made it there. See, that's when you use your government to do oversight.
Yes.
It's too long that listen, Tony, we've been down to city council, down the city a lot. We done heard the mayor saying we got 25 million. We had the mayor voters had 10 million for homeless and people homeless population group. This mayor is the first mayor that showed us some of what money he spent on the homeless program when he opened up this little canteen, city downtown.
City downtown, the high rise,
and the high rise that he's doing. We gonna get with this mayor, and by the end of 2025, we ain't gonna have no homeless people in Fulton County because all the resources are there. We just got to make sure that they are directed toward the issue that need to be directed toward, because seeing what we saw last year, and what we're going forward with this year, we're going to have a greater impact, Tony.
Yep.
We're going to have a greater impact because we're getting veterans into these programs to take advantage of this help that they need. And that's what democracy is all about.
And then one other thing that we're doing, as members of the Veterans Affairs Committee, all the commissioners have not assigned people.
Right.
And so we're making a point to call them on the carpet. And we had an opportunity to do that last week. Is inform one of the commissioners, you have not assigned anybody to the Veterans Affairs Committee.
And she showed up in a place where she had to answer the question.
Yes.
She showed up at Concerned Black Place. Not realizing that we're going to be there.
Yeah.
So Tony asked her, wait a minute, where you working? You ain't saying. She's too busy with a boyfriend. That's what they sanctioned her for. These people get in the office, and rather than focusing on what they're supposed to be doing, they get power struck and they start doing stuff, and it get out to the public, and it look like we got a bunch of corrupt leaders that we have elected to office, and we have. We have. That's a truth that we need to acknowledge as we get ready to vote this year.
Yes. Yeah.
We got to stop voting because you're black, because that don't mean you're always right.
No.
We got to vote people into office that gonna take that pledge.
Yes.
The pledge that we took.
And honor that pledge.
What we're gonna make them honor it, because when we see them not honoring it, like we got these people up there not spending money on bold impeachment stuff. That's a waste of taxpayers' dollars and time.
Yeah.
When they should be thinking about how you gonna solve this problem on the border. You got all these people in this country that should have been given citizenship already. They can't even get a job because they can't get a work permit. Because the system is broke, they need to fix it, and they need to fix it now.
Yeah.
We don't need Donald Trump or Crook calling them and telling them don't do it because it's going to help Biden. It's going to help the nation.
Yeah.
This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you tuned into every chance you get, because we're veterans talking to veterans and the community about all things veterans and the community. We are a community asset, and we want you to know it. And we're going to show it by what we do when we show up, because we're going to show up on every corner that we need to show up on, doing what we've been doing, what we're going to continue to do, building this democracy.
Yeah.
We are here to build this democracy. We are here to make sure that the equal opportunities to the resources of this country are equally operative.
Yep.
And they're there. We don't need. We got some issues in these schools. You know, when you look on every day now, you're looking at the schools. They got kids coming to school with guns. The parents need to be held responsible. They need to be held responsible. You got children coming to school with guns.
Yep.
Where are the parents at? You gonna let your child come out of the house and go to school with a gun? You ain't parenting.
Parents are scared of it.
Yeah. They need to holler Red Rock so that they can, they need to holler Red Rock so they can get some help. Because we got some people in the community that can help them.
Yep.
We got Bolton, Men Making Men. You know, they got a good program. You know, you got several groups out here that are working with these young kids that are problematic, but their parents don't want to tell nobody they're problematic because they're scared of them, Kenny. You're right. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
They TV. Who's educating them? All that rap music.
The rap music.
Yeah.
The violence on TV. You know, that stuff got to stop.
TV is teaching the kids.
Yeah.
Anything they want to know, you can Google it.
You Google it. Yeah. They can make a gun. Listen, they had a little boy making guns and selling them in the community.
How old was he?
18 years old.
Oh, they got some younger than that.
Yeah. Yeah, young, they're smart.
Yeah.
They get these opportunities and they misuse them because their parents are not doing oversight of their children at home. And when they get in trouble, the parents are not that able to help them because they've been their friends too long.
The part of the challenge is kids raising kids.
Kids raising kids. Yeah.
You know, a lot of these young mothers,
TV raising
and the TVs, but a lot of these young mothers, they weren't raised.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were TV raised, that you say. But we observe this, but we just can't only reserve it.
Yes.
You know, it's now time for the community to step up. It's going to be challenging.
Well, see,
because
we're Tony, you know,
Well, now we got some resources.
we got some resources.
Surveillance,
Yeah,
cameras.
yeah.
You're
And
being
then-
tracked everywhere you go. That phone.
And now so
That's
that's
a tracking system.
yeah, it's a tracking system. And what else we got? Like you said, we got a resource code. We begin to build networks.
yeah,
See, one of the things that we done, and a lot of people don't know it, we're hooked up with the churches and concerned black clergy. We go to these churches and they come to us. See, you got to build what you got. And that's what we're building. We're going to these organizations, we're reaching out, and what we done, we realized that some of them needed money, so we went out and made it possible for somebody to get money.
yep.
So
yeah.
they're listening to us because we did what we had to do to give them the resources that they need to work in the community. Now we can call them out. And we're calling out veterans this time. We're calling us out because we can do more. With the skill packages that we got and with the knowledge and experience, we need to help our community. And we can help it by showing up.
Yeah.
By showing up. On the third Thursday of this month, show up at Club E. We're going to feature too. You know, we had some good food the last time. We're going to feature again. And we're going to dialogue, we're going to network, and we're going to continue to build the resources we need to improve the quality of life in our communities all over this city, all over this county, and all over this state, and all over this country. Veterans can do it because we know how to work together, we know how to serve together.
What you gotta do is get their attention.
Better get that. And I want to say this too, because we might not say that enough, Tony, but we have a live audience just about every Saturday. And it's our crew. I like to think of it as our crew. Dean, Tracy, and Kenny. They're gonna be here, supporting, and not just here in the studio with us at the TV. They're in the community.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the community working to make sure what we're talking about we're doing. Now that's more than veterans talk. That's veterans work.
Yeah.
That's veterans service.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm grateful to you, and I want to thank you, Kenny, Tracy, Dean, brother, you know, and Brad. Brad, you don't ask too many questions, Brad. You make us answer questions you need to be asked. So you need to understand that we don't care about how many questions you ask, because see, sometimes if you don't ask, it won't get asked. And asking questions make people think.
That's it.
You know, so don't stop asking questions. Don't stop.
But if we got them many veterans that you got an organization that got them in, should we look at increasing the number of bricks that you ask them to purchase?
See, we can't increase the bricks. We don't have the capacity to do that.
You don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
No, see, what this is the design, right? The design can only tolerate
So many bricks.
so many bricks. So that's
So
what's
now your organization is designed to accommodate a heck of a lot more dollars than you brick.
yeah. So
foundation.
the tough people go right now. They can go to the website and donate.
Yep.
You ain't got to buy no brick.
They don't have to buy no brick.
You ain't got to buy no brick. You can go to the website and donate 24/7.
It's 24/7. But you gotta be able to lay out what you're gonna use, what you propose to use the funds for.
Yeah, we tell them what we use the funds for. We use it in our work. What we do. I'm gonna tell you what. Let me say this here.
Mhm.
Last year, we helped eight. Okay, Tony, take it out.
No, you go ahead and make your point.
Now,
Yeah.
we have 6 surviving spouses get their benefits. We had 3 new takeovers, so we did about 14 cases last year. That's more than one a month, and we're gonna do better this year to help people get benefits.
And you got those 14 different organizations to testify to what your contribution was.
Yeah, absolutely. And the VA can testify because our name's on it. You know? Our name on it. You know, you can pull it up. They know who we are. We want to thank you. We want you to follow us on Facebook, like us on Instagram. Share us with your community. Share us with your family, friends, and enemies too. Because we want everybody to get a chance to talk with us on Saturday afternoon. We're gonna be here next week. We want to thank Saddle Studios for having us here and doing this show with us. So next week, Tony.
Okay. Thank you. And so we'll see you next week.
Next week.
Good.